Well, good morning, everybody. Sunday fun day. We're going to get it started, coming all the way to the back parts of our mat. Thanks for joining us today. Very nice of you. To get started, we're going to take the heels into the corners of the mat with the toes aiming towards the center line thereof. I'd like you to take the ball of each big toe and make a little bit of a push. Lift the baby toes up off the mat. And get that sensation of pressure, what it feels like under the ball of each big toe as you gently put the toes back down. Let's straighten out those legs. Pull that belly in and begin to elongate the spine, pulling the shoulders up to the ears and opening the palms to face forward. Now draw the elbows backwards, and while you hold on this, take a deep breath in and imagine from the ball of the big toe pushing down that the legs find straightness, strength through the belly, and length through the spine and neck. As you release the breath, serve the hands out. This is Kirsten's favorite thing. Forearms come together, palm it. Now, flap it together, open it back up, and do that a couple of times. And let the arms kind of get into a little bit of a groove, up and down, have a little bit of fun with it. And then bring hands back over hearts. And pull your butt back while you keep your knees relatively straight and fold down. And then rise back up. As we begin these salutes of sorts, I'd like you to try to keep the spine long and try to keep the orientation of weight in the feet back towards the heels. Explore the range down. Take a few breaths through this movement. Inhaling as you rise, exhaling as you fold. And then when we arrive in this down position this time, let the fingers descend into the earth. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. Keep the back in extension, draw the hips backwards. Walk the fingers forward. As you fill the lungs, imagine lengthening through all of that spinal column of yours. And as you exhale, let the spine flex, let it relax. Float back and forward on your feet. Find a balance between front and back. And when you find it, inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, bring the weight back to the heels by drawing that booty back. Walk the fingers forward, inhale. Exhale, flex. Pilates style, sweep it up, sweep the arms sideways out and all the way up to salute the sun. And then when you're ready to lower those arms, shoulder height, keep the palms facing. Draw the shoulders back and imagine you have a string on each shoulder pulling them off the center line of your chest. Draw the butt backwards. Keep the spine long, keep it growing long. Take your chin, pull it in towards the neck itself or the back of it. As you inhale, raise the arms. As you exhale, lower them. Open the palms and sweep the arms all the way back. Inhale, rotate the palms to face, raise the arms high, and continue on this repetition for a few breaths. Inhaling as you raise, exhaling as you sweep back. All right. Oh, this warm up. Nice. Get some blood flow going. My goodness, my brain's working overtime all of a sudden. All right, sweep it up to the sky, stand tall, salute the sun. And then exhale, lower those arms once again, shoulder height, and this time palm to palm and fingers interlock. Keeping the spine long, draw the hips back ever so slightly. And we're going to begin to oscillate from side to side with our arms locked out, fingers interlocked. Keep a nice pressure in the fingers, like you're kind of grabbing, locking down without bending through the elbows, without swaying from side to side either. I know we can get rhythmic with this, but right now we're just kind of focusing on spinal column muscles and also lateral stabilizers. Bring it back center, bring hands over heart, and pray that this class is open. I'm joking. All right, now that we're back here, we're going to take the half forward fold, keep the thumbs on that chest bone of yours. Take the fingers now and separate them widely while you maintain that thumb contact. Proud out the chest, pull the shoulders, the back of them to the sky. Grow the neck nice and long. Straighten out those legs a little more if you can. And as you release the next breath, let it all pull towards the earth. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex it down. Inhale, extend, hold. Butt back, fingers walk forward. Big breath in. Exhale, flex it down. Inhale, unfold it all the way up. And good morning, sun. There's another salute to you. Pull high to the sky, the fingers. Nice. Now, bring your left hand onto your right wrist and wrap it. Pull with that left hand, the right hand to the sky, and as you slowly position or push that right hip to the side, pull that right arm across the center line. Keep the elbow nice and straight. If you bend from the arm, you're kind of missing some of this great stretch along that lateral chain. Come back up center. Opposite hand grabs, pulls to the sky. Arm remains long as you slowly push that left hip out and grow that left lateral or side body chain. Come back up to center and drop those hands back over heart. Nice. Now, push the palms together. Extend the arms out. Keep the palms pushing together as you push in and out the hands. So like a double push, it's like a push-pull. It's like a yin and yang if you're into that yoga stuff, like I am. No Sanskrit allowed. All right, now, hold out, keep pushing together, draw back the hips, keep the hands, palms pushing together, and then from side to side, rotate. Now, try to mind what your arms are doing. Try to keep them positioned, shoulder height, but with the palms pushing as you rotate from side to side. A little different sensation. All right, bring it back center. Hands over heart, toes step straight forward. Hands push back up to the sky and fold it down. Inhale, extend, flat back. Keep the back in extension, bend both knees. Step those palms onto your shins. No snap, crackle, and pop. It's like Rice Krispie time. Now, bring the elbows forward, push the palms to the shin, extend the spine, lower the hips, keep the palms pushing into the shins as you raise the shoulder carriage, proud the chest. Sweep the arms forward, palms face. Inhale, stand. Salute all the way up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend, flat back. Straighten out those legs. Booties back, palms to the shin, both knees bend. Lower those hips a little deeper if you can this time. Elbows sweep forward as palms push the shin, spine extends, and we begin to unhinge a little bit for the hips, but we're keeping those hips down. Sweep the hands forward. Inhale, stand tall, salute. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend, go flat back. Booty back. Legs straight, palms to shin, knees bend, push, extend, raise the arms this time, hold on that, and then now stand tall, big breath in, exhale, hands over heart, right foot steps forward. Use the center line of the mat to find a good separation of left and right foot. You're up on the toes of that back foot. Now, we have a little connection of the palms. I'd like you to separate the fingers widely and keep the thumb tip on that chest plate of yours. So I'm going to raise the elbow slightly. I'm going to lean in, holding on this now. Now, while we're here, two things I'd like you to focus on. Heel on the back foot. Make sure it's not inwardly or exteriorly rotated. Aim it up at the sky. The ball of the big toe, the front foot. Push it into the mat. Straight out that front leg. Give me as much straightness as you can, and then put a slight bend in the knee. Fold in a little deeper. Now, we're going to roll the fingertips on by rolling them down to the chest plate and raising the elbows nice and tall. Try to keep those palms from separating. You're going to want to do so. You're going to hold on it for one more breath, Hands come back over heart. Push off that back foot, come all the way back. Switch sides. Center line being our register, separating. Set it up the same. Heel sky, ball of big toe. Slight push of the palms forward as the fingers separate widely. Begin to lower into the pose. We're going to hold on this. Make sure your ball of that big toe left foot pushing nicely. Now, keep the fingers separated. Roll those fingertips onto that chest plate. Elbows raise. Big inhale. Holding on this for another breath. As you exhale it, hands over heart. Push off the back foot, step it forward. I'm just messing with her. Can you tell?
Yeah.
All right, now that we're here, with hands over heart, we're going to bring our feet out to the edges of the mat. Big breath in, and then we're going to take our hands, palms pushing back together. Something we did earlier, so you a little bit of practice with this. Fingers nice and wide, palms pushing together. Now we're going to basically roll the shoulders forward, pull them back. And while we do so, I think we keep the pressure in the palms. Forward, back, forward, back. If you're compressing in the neck, if your head's following along, please just make a nice long spinal column, even neck nice and long, in and out with the shoulders, and then hold them back. Open the palms, face the sky. Trace your rib cage with your elbows as you draw them all the way back to expand through the chest. Beautiful. Now, while those elbows pull back, I'd like you to make sure you have nice elongation through those legs. We're going to squeeze those elbows together. And while you do so, I'd like you to proud out the chest, grow the spinal column. And then let those arms slide ever so slightly forward so that the arms themselves can hug the rib cage. Keep the palms open, separate those fingers widely. If you close them, keep them nice and wide. Use your thumbs now to open. And fingertips, baby fingertip, thumbs pull back. Curtains in that way. There's curtains for you, Sean. Now, very important not to let the arms transcend out. I want you to squeeze like you're hugging your rib cage as you open and close. And our exterior rotation is what we're practicing. I want you to kind of explore some of the range backwards. Forwards is easy. You can get that 9 ways to Sunday. Notice I went 2 more than 7 because I'm giving you guys like progression, right? All right, hold them back. Squeeze ever so tightly with those arms. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, push those hands all the way out. And then salute the sun. And then fold it down and walk the plank. When you get to the plank pose, we're in a high plank. I'd like you to step your hands forward of the shoulders. Now, to start, we're going to lower the knees down directly. You're not going to step them underneath the hips. I want them back of the hips. And while we hold in this, I'd like you to lower down the torso in between the arms. And then raise that back up. So it's like a modified push-up of sorts. And really what we're doing is articulating our scapula inwardly and outwardly or exteriorly as we move the torso up and down in between our arms. A few more repetitions. And then hold it in the up position so we have that capsule, a shoulder capsule in the anterior front part of the body. You're going to grow the neck nice and long. I like you to proud out the chest. I like you to pull the belly button up into the sky. And I'd like you to bring some flexion to that upper back. As it flex, let the head lower. Pull back the hips towards the heels. Your toes can be tucked under or feet flat to the earth. And we're lowering down the hip or butt towards the heels. Feel that nice lengthening through those lats. Let's walk the fingers forward. Again, decompression is very important. So as you move, as you ask your body to move, try to take a register of any areas where you feel like you're compressing, and then just tell them to relax. All right, so in this child's pose now, we're going to walk the hands back up. And as we come onto all fours this time, I'd like you to align the knees as best you can underneath the hips. As you separate the hands to the edges of the mat, try to make a position where the baby fingers run parallel to the mat, so there's a slight inward rotation of your fingertips for the rest of the hand, of course. And while we're here, same type of exercise, but we're going to make one modification. I'd like you to take your tailbone and roll it towards the sky, and then take the back of the head and pull it to the sky. And then add the support mechanism. I want you to engage your six-pack muscle. And while you keep that nice and active, I want you to lower the chest in, or down and up, sorry, in between the arms. Making sure the elbows don't bend. We're specifically moving shoulder blades. We don't want the elbows moving right now as we articulate and get some blood flow into those muscles that sometimes get beaten up when you sit for long periods of time, or just for bad postural habits. All right, now, hold it in a down position. Step the fingers to face straight forward. Make sure your toes are tucked if they weren't. And then if they are, here we go. We're going to raise up off. We're going to take the knees, and we're going to float forward and backwards. If your wrists get sore, you can always take a break, wiggle them or wipe, do whatever you need to do with them. And as we push forward and back, I like you to increase the range, forward and back slowly. Yeah, nice. Now, hold it in the back position. Drive the heels to the earth. As we modify this down dog, I like you to try to drive the heels earthward. Keep the spinal column nice and long. Straighten out those arms. Take your elbows and try to rotate them down towards the earth, but keep the palms flat. And now walk your hands back to your feet. Balance the weight front to back in those feet of yours. Inhale, extend into a flat back. Exhale, pull. Continue this for a couple repetitions. Keep the extension. Now, if your feet are close together, step them about hip width apart. Palms step back onto the shins. Pull your elbows forward. Bend those knees over the booty. Palms push, spine extends. Extend the neck too. Push. Proud out the chest. Now, we practice a lot with the shoulders. We're going to sweep the hands forward. We're going to draw the shoulders back. I'm going to keep the hips low. I'm going to proud out the chest. Raise the arms and lower them. So just tap the knees up and down. If you want to go full range in this, you're more than welcome to sweep them all the way back, all the way up, or just modify up and down, arms remaining in front, and then stand tall. Inhale, salute. Good morning, sun. Good morning, people. Exhale, hold it down, all the way down onto the mats. I'm going to grab some water. Oh, my goodness. A little bit of glow going on. Hopefully you got that. Agua. All right. As you roll down onto your back, going to take both feet, bring them in towards the butt. We're going to rock pelvically. So I'd like you to try to imagine there's a couple of strings on the top front part of your pelvic girdle. Pull them to the sky. And if you get the right type of pull, that mechanism should create a more pressure sensation in your tailbone. And if you got that, that's the forward motion of our pelvic rock. Now, the backward motion is the exact opposite. We're going to take a string and tie it to the pubis and begin to pull it to the sky and allow the back part, the low back skin, you've heard that a few thousand times, I'm sure, be the connection. Feel that, try to get to that type of sensation. Now, we've described both points, both ends, onto the tailbone and onto the low back skin. And rotate up and down. Take your time with the movements. We're just warming some muscles there. And hold it with the low back skin down and give me six-pack in big activation, like I'm dropping a bowling ball. And as you do that, keep those muscles active, but now try to pull all of that structure, all of that muscle pulls into the spinal column. Now, if you're tensing through the neck, remember what I told you before. Remember that advice? Tell it to relax, keep it all chill. Now, while we keep that, I'd like you to take your hands directly up, reaching for the sky, and then I'd like you to kind of settle your shoulder blades down. Give me as much connection on that upper back. You can feel the skin of the back as best you can, as most of it as you can, connected. As we flatten out the rib cage, shoulders, tummy active, low back skin connected. Enjoy this nice spinal posturing. May feel, okay, gravity's helping us right now. Now, while we hold on this, I'm going to ask you to slowly, while you keep the arms straight, let the thumbs kind of descend towards the earth. Feel a nice stretch, those lats. I'd like you to hold on that. You can kind of reposition as much as you need to. My thumb tips are now the connection point. Yours may not reach there exactly, that's fine. Most importantly, is you kept the arms nice and long. And we're going to hold for this to allow those lats nice opportunity to kind of lengthen out. While you do that, I'm going to bring some emphasis to the lower body and have you rotate your thighs into touch. And I'll squeeze those thighs together. Keep those arms extending back and begin to walk your feet forward while you keep those thighs connected. And bring them way out so that there's a really obtuse angle. Now, if you've noticed, the back has changed its orientation. It's not as long. We have a little bit of curvature going on, and I can tell you how you can feel that. Is the skin of the low back is now popped up off the mat. So we're going to hold on this while we continue to squeeze the thighs. On the next breath, as you release it, we're going to descend, sweep those arms down and cup the fingers to bring those fingertips upon the earth. Going to keep those arms nice and straight, and I'm going to ask you to proud out your chest. Once again, we're going to try to rock pelvically. Now, this is going to be a little more challenging, so you may not get that low back skin sensation, that touch on the mat, but we're going to keep the activation of that six-pack muscle and give us our best version of it. Keep the chest nice and proud. Keep the fingertips pumping into the earth. Now, if you've set the feet or the heels well for this exercise, there's a big open angle through the knees. Not 180 degrees, but definitely not 90. And as you keep that, I'm going to ask you to begin to use the posterior chain by pushing into the heels as you squeeze your thighs with an attempt to try to elevate your tailbone up off the mat. And as that hip extension, that's going to create glute activation. You should kind of feel them fire up a little bit. Make sure you keep the chest proud and the neck decompressed. Holding on this for a couple more seconds, slowly lowering down, and then let's this time pull the knees up and into the chest. As you grab hold of the kneecaps, pull in, and then rock from side to side. Feel a nice little massage going on there. And then let's bring those feet back down, walk them back out, keep them about hip width apart. See if you can extend out just a little more than you were last time, as long as it's not giving 180 degrees or zero bend in the knees. We're going to bring the toes together this time. And as we create that inward rotation, when the thighs have an opportunity to touch, we're going to make that reuniting more significant now. They missed each other. Squeeze them together like a big hug, holding on that. Fingertips cupped with cupped hands, fingertips on the earth, elbows locked out, nice and straight. Chest proud. Thighs continue to squeeze as we begin to work the elevation and glute activation. So we want those big inner thigh muscles, those strong ones, becoming stronger and allowing us to focus mostly on the glute as we try to push the heels to elevate the hips. Now, while your toes are touching, I'd like you to flex or pull them in towards the shin and keep it all nice and high. And then slowly lower down and pull those knees up and into the chest and rock it from side to side. Oh, oh, why does this exercise feel so different all of a sudden? And I'm going to walk back out the feet. See if you can extend out, oops, a little more than before. Turn the toes into touch. We're going to bring thighs squeezing together, holding on that. Nice cupped hands, fingertips on the earth, chest nice and proud. Pushing from the heels to create that activation of all of that musculature I've gone through so many times before. And while we hold that, I'd like you to pull the toes in towards the shins. Keep them connected. Don't open up those feet. Push hard. And then lower down. Pull the knees up and in. And rock it side to side. And then combat. And rock and roll front to back. All the way up to a seated position. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Now, right leg extends. Left foot. We're going to create a 4 number. Number 4. The number 4 stretch. You like that? Not number 5. Number 4. So we're going to take our foot. We're going to reach our right hand forward. And I'm going to ask you to push on top of the toes to create a nice extension along that front leg. You're going to bring your thumb. Now there's that bony part of the shin. I'd like you to bring it on the outside. And just take your thumb while you push toes towards the earth and run it ever so gently down those muscles that align the side of the shin bone. You may find a little bit sweaty and hard to kind of push. Just give it your best effort all the way down, right into where the ankle joint is, and then come back up and then do that one more time. See if you can exert a little more pressure the second time through. If you find any areas that are a little knobby or bumpy, come back over top of it, give it a couple rubs, and then continue your descent. All right, and I'm going to do it one more time, and then we're going to switch sides.
You lied. You already said one more.
I know. Well, I meant one more time. All right. Kirsten's thoroughly enjoying correcting me. She's not enjoying the exercises, obviously. Let's switch up sides. Same setup. We're going to take that left hand, push those left toes, and take that right thumb and begin to massage out or lengthen out those often abused muscles. So believe it or not, these muscles get abused not from running as much as they do from sitting, because they're always active when you're sitting because of the foot being in a flexed state. And then the third time through, a little more intensity in the push. And then bring it all the way back up. Massage it over, but the class is still going on. All right, let's bring both legs straight. I'm going to reposition so I can put my heels towards the corners, front corners of the mats. I'm going to bring some flexion to the toes. Now, different than last time, we're going to reach forward and grab a hold over the toes. So the base of the palm on the tips of the toes. We're going to take our fingertips and gently tap on the bottom of the foot. That's the plantaris region, or pretty darn close to it. As we pull the toes, I'm going to ask you to bring flexion to the feet. And now the muscles are going to want to activate, but I'd like you to kind of override that by pulling strongly. And as you do so, I'd like you to kind of crowd the chest, grow the spinal column, and notice the difference it makes in how that stretch feels. Try to give me a little more of that. Try to take the back of the knees, push them to the earth. As you give my feet a little more pull, you're using those strong lats. So you're going to keep the neck relaxed, right? Now drop the chin, raise the head, pull the head like an imaginary string high to the sky. It's kind of on the diagonal, right? And then relax, come into seated position, staff pose. Once we go here. Now, let's take the right hand and left hand and frame that right leg and walk out. Point the toes as you descend and raise the body by walking it back and flexing the foot. And then point and extend. And you're literally just walking the fingertips in and out. And then point and extend. And come back up and then switch sides. And third time is the charm. And walk it back up. Oops, I forgot to point. All right, now shake it out. Let's take our knees and bend them ever so slightly. Let's use our hands and hamstrings as kind of a support mechanism to do that pelvic rocking drill, but this time we're rolling onto the sit bones. So those sit bones are nice and pronounced in terms of our weight bearing. We're going to give me a nice proud chest and lean back. Once you've kind of got a spot where you feel comfortable and kind of secure, we're going to keep the hands, take the hands and reach them forward. Now, as we hold this, I'm going to lower down a little more, adding more intensity of work to those hip flexors. And then we're going to stretch them out. So this is how we're going to roll. We're going to take that pelvic rocking, rock off of the sit bones onto the tailbone, and then Pilates style, take it all the way down. Keep the little bend in the knees that we had, reach all the way back. And then take it up Pilates style. Remember, the chin drops, and then you peel vertebrae by vertebrae all the way up. And then up and onto the sit bones. Reach those arms almost straight forward, whatever your version of shoulder heights. Drop the chin and allow that body to descend all the way back down. Sweep the arms all the way back. And then come back up, chin into chest. Peeling one by one, extending all the way out. Beautiful. Now, keep the bend in the knees, fold forward. Squeeze the knees into your arms. Inhale, extend into a flat back. Walk those hands back in and grab a hold of those kneecaps. Sit bones, pull up and onto them if you're not presently there. Holding on this, we're going to lean back a little more. And once again, we're going to extend the arms. Drop the chin. Peel it down. As we come down this time, we're going to keep those arms reaching for the sky and bring both legs up. Take the feet, point them, and flex them. And do that a couple of times. Now, keep the toes pointed to the sky. Reach your fingertips up towards the toe tips and then lower back down. And repetitions, let's just continue to do this without straining to get up. I find a lot of times that people will say, oh, this really hurts my neck. And if it does, it's really the wrong muscles you're using. You're not really lifting with your head. We're trying to create a six-pack muscle activation. It's a crunch. So if you're stressing through the neck, that's fine. Your head is probably so full of brains, it's a little bit of strain on those muscles. We're going to come up one more time, hold up, reaching a little bit higher, and then relax it. Pull the knees up into the chest, and then rock and roll front to back. And as you come up into seated, sweep those legs all the way back around and come up onto all fours. All right. Now, let's bring your thighs together and make sure your heels aren't open in the back. Let's aim them up at the sky. Toes are tucked. We're going to take our wide base in the hands, and we're going to draw back ever so slightly, just so that the hips are slightly back of the knees. Now, while you work on squeezing the thighs, I like you to keep those toes tucked and let the chest descend in between the arms. Turn those elbows in towards the center line, and then try to elevate the knees ever so slightly off the earth. Squeeze the legs, hold the knees high, and then slowly lower down, and then reverse cat and cow here. So back of head and tailbone flip to the sky, spine goes into flexion. Hold high, that's, oh, big popping going on there. And then reverse, and then reverse, and then one more time reverse, and then make the spine neutral. Squeeze your thighs, elevate the knees, hold. While you're holding this, shift to the left, shift to the right, and keep shifting back and forth. Now hold this, circle it. Try to keep those knees, those legs, sorry, the thighs squeezing together. Reverse. And then lower down, hips pull to the sky, heels drive to the earth. Pull that tailbone high to the sky, straighten out those arms, keep that neck relaxed. Proud through the chest, heels driving to the earth. As you release your next breath, step your feet forward, mat width apart, inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend. Keep the extension, draw the weight back, walk the fingers forward. Exhale, let the spine relax, bring hand to opposite elbow. Pilates style, roll them up, stack them, nice. Elbows rise, shoulder height. Feel like I'm on the I Dream of Genie, right? Sitcom. You don't get it, do you?
No.
No, someone never watched that show. All right, so now we have this nice hugging thing going on. We basically bracketed the arms. We have the fingers wrapping over the back end. We're gonna hold those shoulders, sorry, elbows up, shoulder height. And we're gonna basically draw the shoulders in and out. You notice that my head wants to help a lot, but I'm gonna ask it to remain calm as we simply articulate the shoulders forward and back. All right, we've got that. Relax the arms. Oh, I know. What's going on? We're going to keep the elbows pulling back, palms open up to the sky. Have that nice proud chest. I'm going to ask you to protect that low back and spinal column of yours by engaging the six-pack muscles. Draw the elbows back, squeeze them together. Beautiful. Nice. Now, while we have all of that upper body activation, take the left leg, step it backwards. There's a slight bend in that front knee, but we want to make sure that the knee hasn't shifted forward. We're trying to work posterior chain. Take the ball of that big toe, front foot, push it to the mat, rip the hips back. We have most of the weight bearing felt in the heel. Now we have all of this back activation. We're going to keep it as we lean in on this. I like you to avoid neck compression. Keep those elbows squeezing together. Beautiful. Holding on this for a couple breaths. Now we're going to piston the back foot. Drive the heel to the earth and then push back up under the toes. Try not to lose it and compromise any of that upper body activation we created. And while you work the heel up and down, push that right ball, the big toe, deeply into the mat. Couple more reps. Step the back foot forward. Keep the upper body. Switch up the legs. Whoops. You might notice balance is a little more challenged on this side, right, Sean? Yeah. Now, same thing with that front leg. Make sure the knee has a slight bend, ball of big toe, knee is back. It's almost oriented directly above the heel. Up on the toes of that back foot. We're going to lean in, keeping the neck decompressed. Keep those elbows squeezing together. Keep them pulling backwards. Right heel, pistons up and down. Now, this exercise and the intensity is going to vary per person, but what you're looking for is something that's moderately challenging. You can lean in a little deeper. The muscle that's really working here, isometrically, of course, is that left hip cheek muscle, if you will. And it should feel a little bit of burning, maybe a lot, whatever it is, work it. Now, push up in the heels, bring hands over heart. Step the back foot forward. Great job, everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody, hands push to the sky. Big inhale, fold it down, step it back to plank. Almost done, folks. We're almost there. You've done a great job. Now, down dog. Doggone it, we're going to do the down dog. Like we practiced earlier with the heels, you got to drive and tippy toes and do that a couple times. See if the heel to earth experience can be increased. And if it can't, don't worry about it. Just give me your best effort. Now hold the heels aiming towards the earth. Push those arms straight. Spiral those elbows downwardly. Grow that neck of yours. Round out that chest. Pull those hips higher to the sky. And as you release your next breath, take it down to the mat and lie it all the way down. Oh, did you say yay?
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah, nice
Stretch.
Well, we were stretching there. That's a nice lat stretch. It's a lot of work, but it's still stretch. All right. This one's for Mark. Figure 4. So right foot's going to be the planted foot, left foot's going to come up onto that right thigh. We're going to find a nice orientation where it's more stable. And how we do that is we try to avoid rocking off of one side or the other. The tailbone should be felt as the weight. And then once you've got that set up, I'd like you to kind of rock it pelvically. So you got that low back skin onto that mat of yours. And while you're holding that, I'd like you to, without assistance, try to take your left knee and exteriorly rotate it. Try to move it away from the body without kind of rocking or rolling or lifting lower back. Just hold on that for a second. Enjoy it. It's not very strenuous. Now, here's the stretch. We're going to pull that right thigh upward. Some of us like to assist with hands. If you can today, to really exercise that hip flexor, I'd like you to do it hands-free to try to really make a concerted effort to close the gap between the thigh and the upper body, working that flexor nicely, strongly engaged, pushing now with that left leg against it, which is really that left foot pushing down on the right thigh, and then using that to provide resistance as you lower the right foot back down, only to switch up sides. Find that nice anchor of the foot. Find that nice pelvically positioned body of yours as we begin to open the right knee away from the body. And now, here we come. The left thigh comes in. We're resisting, of course, slightly or greatly, depending upon the muscle strength in that left hip flexor this time. Actually, it's flexors. There's a number of muscles at work here. So you're pushing hard with the right as you pull hard with the left. A little more yin and yang. There we go. Love it, love it, love it. And then slowly lower back down and extend the legs all the way out. Point the toes. Reach the hands above the head and use your fingertips. Let the fingers do the walking. To pull the upper body one direction as the toes pull the lower body the opposite direction. As you exhale, pull the knees up and into the chest. Grab a hold of the kneecaps. I let my feet kind of overlap just to kind of rock from side to side. I'm going to calm that, and I'm going to open the feet. If you've got them open already, that's great. And you're going to let the knees pull forward and kind of circle through the hips. And then we're going to reverse. You're going to rock and roll all the way up. And take the feet all the way out. We're going to do one more stretch before we call it a day. We're going to let the fingers once again do the walking as we let the upper body drop down.
You can modify this any way you want. If you want to do the wrapping of the toes, you can do that. I like to kind of do that. Push the back of the knees into the mat. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. And then keep that back extending as you come into a seated position. Let's bring hands over heart. So I can thank you for joining us today. Namaste. Lily, you joined us. Good morning. Yeah. That's where down dog came from, right there.
She only does down dog when she gets a treat.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, honey. Namaste.